Hello, Christians and atheists alike. Today I'm going to talk about bullying. The reason I want to talk about this is I want to highlight the emotional and mental damage it does to someone's brain. When I was younger, I was picked on every now and then, but not more than most kids. Until about 7th grade, and then from 7th grade, I was bullied until my senior year. Understand that I'm not telling you my story because I want your pity. And if you think that, get the fuck off my channel. I'm telling you this because I want bullies to understand how badly they hurt someone's brain. And if you come back with, oh, you bully people, you talk about them online, blah, 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 blah. No, bullying is actively seeking someone out to make fun of them. And I'm mostly talking about high school. If you put yourself online, people are going to respond. There's going to be trolls. You have to deal with it. That's something totally different. I'm talking about when you're a child growing up. I found my mother dead on the floor after my dad and I came home from basketball practice. The next week I didn't go to school. When I finally did go back to school, I cried about my mother's death for the first time. This happened while I was waiting in the hallway for my first class of the day. A kid that liked to bully everyone was sitting in the hall not too far from me. He responded to my crying with, "Stop crying, you're a little baby. What do you think, you're special or something?" This moment has stuck in my mind since that day. I'll never forget it. Now this kid knew my mother had died because I grew up in a small white town. Yes, I grew up in an all-white town, sorta. There were Mexicans and whites mostly. There was one black kid. He was actually half black, and he was actually one of my best friends throughout, I would say, middle school. He left our school in high school, and he was the only kid I actually brought to my mother's funeral to sit with our family. I bring him up because he was actually bullied a lot because he was black, and he was the only black kid in our school. I remember in 6th grade there was one time I actually defended him against another of my best friends. This kid was actually one of my best friends too, and I had to defend him because my other best friend was picking on him. It was funny because we were all in the restroom, and my white best friend was picking on him, just shoving him around and pushing him against the stall wall. And so I walked over to my white best friend and I grabbed him by the shirt and I pushed him up against the wall and I said, "Leave him the fuck alone." Now let's jump ahead to my high school. In high school, I played basketball, which I wasn't very good until my senior year. One of the reasons I wasn't very good is because it was a daily routine of my teammates to ridicule, fight, push, anything else really to demean me. Every inch of my life was ridiculed by people who used to be my friends when we were younger. I could never really figure out why they singled me out. The only thing I can really guess is that I was the weakest kid on the team, so it was easy. I was an easy target. Now, since the team started making fun of me, it got around school that I was the punching bag of the team. So more people joined in on the fun who didn't actually play on the basketball team, just kids throughout the school. There was one time that this kid, I remember, threw glitter on me, and the glitter stuck to me for weeks. I went immediately to the showers in the locker room, tried to wash it off. I tried to wash it off when I got home. And for about 2 weeks, the glitter was on me. And for those 2 weeks, I mean, I was called gay. I was called fag. I mean, I was made fun of daily for that. From that day forward, my daily life became very depressing. I had a mentally abusive stepmother at home, and I had to deal with the daily ridicule at school. All I ever wanted from these kids was their friendship, which I had when I was younger. I don't really understand why it turned when I got in high school. This is still the person I am today. I really want friendship. I need other people's friendship. And I will go out of my way to get it, and I will go out of my way for my friends. Since every inch of me was judged daily, I started judging every inch of myself. Am I walking funny? Are my clothes clean enough? Remember, there can't be any wrinkles because last week, when you had a wrinkly shirt, everyone went out of their way to make fun of you. Okay, now don't wear those shoes ever again because yesterday, that's all people said. How ugly your shoes are. And I know these are little things and they shouldn't be that big of a deal, but when hundreds of kids are going out of their way to ridicule every little micro thing about you, it gets to you. And you might think I'm being a little bitch about this or overly sensitive, so let me tell you this story. There was a kid on my team, with the help of other teammates, who made a rap song ridiculing me. It talked about the clothes that I wore, it talked about the necklace that I wore, and remember about the shoes that were so ugly that I was talking about earlier? They actually named those shoes the Temptations, which is weird. And So yeah, I never wore those shoes again. But that was included on the rap song. So they burned the song onto a CD and passed it around the school. So pretty much everyone in the school who I guess listened to rap heard it. After that day, I went home from school every day wishing for death. I went home suicidal. The best part about this is it still follows me. I worked at a pizza place with a chick who was from my hometown. I had never met her before in my life. When I told her my name, because my name was a part of that rap song, she asked me, "Oh, are you the guy that rap song is about?" I played it off and I was like, "Yeah, that's me." Just hoping to brush it off, and I hoped that she didn't actually realize that song was ridiculing me. But the worst day of school came when I was in basketball practice, and for some reason the coach was gone, and this was during school. During the practice, the entire team decided to chase me around, humming basketballs at me. We started off doing layup drills. Then one of the older players decided to start throwing the balls at me when I would go up for rebounds, until finally he got the whole team to do it. I left the gym after about 10 or 15 minutes of this, went into the locker room crying. Why couldn't these people just leave me alone? Why couldn't they see that I only wanted their friendship? So in the locker room, the last kid who had thrown the ball at me followed me in and started asking me, "Hey, you're not going to tell on us, right? You're not going to tell on us, right?" And I said, "No, I'm going to go home and I'm going to kill myself." And he responded with, "Okay, that's fine. Just don't tell on us, okay?" Which, if someone said that they were going to go and kill themselves after the whole team had just got done just destroying this person's life, that wouldn't have been my response. I would have found a better way to deal with that. That day I went home, I wrote a suicide note, left it on my bed. I decided I was going to try and hang myself with an extension cord, and I ended up not doing it because I have a fear of death. And really, that's probably the only reason I never did actually kill myself, is because I fear death. And finally, actually, when I was 22, I actually tried to commit suicide, and I took a bunch of pills and ended up driving myself to the hospital because I was afraid to die. Anyway, the reason I bring all this up is because being bullied really fucks with you mentally. And when you grow up, you have a lot of emotional issues. You have a lot of emotional problems that it's really hard to deal with, and it's really hard to have normal relationships with other people because, like me, for instance, I need people's friendship. I have to have it. And I judge myself to no end to try and keep you as my friend. I try to make sure there's nothing wrong. I try to make sure there's nothing wrong with me so that you don't hate me or I'm not annoying you. And if you're on my DMs or my emails, you've probably noticed that I have a very big problem with annoying people. I hate it. I don't want to be annoying, and it makes me annoying because I try so hard to try and make everything perfect, to try and make sure there's no little thing that will bother you, and just anything to not be annoying. So what I want you to take from this is understand that if you're in high school and you're bullying people and there's hundreds of kids bullying one kid, you are hurting that person's mind. You are fucking them up for their adulthood. They're going to carry these little weird quirks and weird judgmental ways about themselves that is just going to mess them up for life. And they have to deal with it. And it's hard. And so you need to understand that you're hurting people mentally. I've always compared it to psychological torture or mental torture. You're mentally torturing these people, especially when it's 100 against 1. It feels like the world is against you. So just understand, bullying is not cool. Now, if you put yourself on the internet, you better expect that you're going to get trolls, you're going to get made fun of, you're going to get all kinds of shit. And that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in school. Don't single people out, man. Just be cool. Be a nice person. Thanks for watching. Later.